Hello Libra, welcome to your reading with me, Cindy. Libra, in this series of readings, we're going to look at how you've changed. We're going to look at who you were then. Then can be a week ago, day ago, month, years, who you are now. We're going to look at the lesson that you are still perfecting here in life. And then we're going to look at the lesson that you have perfected. I'm using all of the wild, unknown cards again. I haven't really done it too often. I do have the pocket-sized edition here. I use it more in the extended. We've got, the devil. We've got the tarot. Oh, the devil and the lamb. Wasn't that interesting? It's like when the little baby grows up, becomes a little devil. The oracle. Oh, and then you have the lover. Maybe when the lover grows up, they become the devil. And the archetype deck. So that's a really interesting underline after the pre-shuffle. So let's get right into your reading. Let's do it. Let's do this, Libra. My cosmic scales of justice. Let's see who you were then, who you are now, lesson you're still perfecting, and the lesson that you have perfected. All right, Libra, who you were then. The Queen. Boy, the King and Queen have been going around a lot this week. I don't know. Kind of funny. The Queen. Who you were then. I'm being called to pull out all the cards before I actually say anything. All right, then. Who you are now. The Village. Oh, that's an interesting dynamic. Lesson that you are still perfecting, learning. Agape. I think it's agape. And then the lesson that you have mastered, that you have fully learned here, is the vision. Oh, the medallion is at the bottom. The medallion. It's, oh, to me, I get like something inherited here. I really kind of get with the, and like reaching for it from the stars, from the cosmos. Okay, let's get to the lessons in a second. The first thing that comes in with these two sitting here like this is, I feel like if you were the queen in the past, it almost is like you had a kingdom of some sorts, right? But now you're actually the village. And there's a more meaning behind this card than what I'm about to articulate, but this is the first message that came in with this, is that you have possibly gone from being, I don't know if a more exalted, it's not really a more exalted state, because I see that in a more spiritual and intellectual. This actually, you know what, it would look like going from, in the physical sense, like, you know, seeing a queen sitting on the throne or running the castle or whatever, but now the queen is actually the village. That to me is actually kind of exalted, like becoming more exalted, where you're actually in with all of the people as opposed to sitting above the people. I don't know if there's some kind of level of status that you have moved away from, and perhaps it's a monetary status, or it's caught up in the traps of, you know, just like society, like the societal traps that a lot of us find ourselves in. And you were perhaps likely succeeding quite well at that. But now you're like, this is like a more humble type of energy where now you're really in there with the people. And you may too, because the other thing that comes in with this village energy is that the village can, to me, the village is also symbolic of what goes on in the pilgrimage. Because in the pilgrimage card, you're going from one place to another, and you're going from one village to another, really, in all sense and purposes. So it's kind of like that, but it's almost like leaving a kingdom and finding a village. Wow, that's really intriguing. And now I kind of feel like, because you have the medallion card here, like this is almost like something that you inherit. It could be something that you receive, or that you're given, or like a bounty that kind of comes to you, but it's kind of like a destined thing. I almost sort of wonder if you've like made something great in a past period of your life, or you've achieved something of status, and then now you're kind of like starting again, like now you're sleeping in one of the village tents or one of the village huts. You're not in a castle anymore. But yeah, it's almost like, well, now maybe you're meant to make this, wherever you find yourself now, you're meant to create something great there that's part of your destiny. Whatever was this in the past was likely part of your destiny, and I kind of feel like you took it to fruition, like you took it to the limits that you were meant to sort of take it to. Elevate yourself. But now it is a little bit like starting kind of in a more humble means here. The Queen too also knows, be careful of this as well. Oh yes, now I see how this comes in. Be careful of this as well, because the Queen is also spoken of knowing her value in this card. Like when the throne of the king sits empty, the Queen still knows her value and does not take the hand of a prince. She still waits for a king. So with the village card, because the village too can also speak of, like, you know, the things that go on in a village, like there can be gossip, there can be judgment, you know. So I don't know if you could be on the end of one of those, whether you're casting that gossip or judgment, or you could possibly be receiving it. So I kind of get the feeling too, like, don't believe, I don't think you would though, but you're in the village now. So just, you know, believe in yourself, I guess, is really what I want to say. If you do feel like your status has dropped a bit somehow, still believe in yourself. Like, don't, yeah, okay? So, which is kind of interesting here. I get with this agape card. I hope I'm saying that right. It's kind of like profound, something profound. To me, that's what I really get with that card, like something very profound. There's a lot of candles here that are all lit up and they're coming together. And this is towards the end of this deck, of the book. Is it, what is it called, this series in the end? It's the initiations. There we go. Actually, while we're here, let's just do agape. Okay. What if instead of putting yourself at the center of your spiritual practice, you put God, Goddess, or nature at the center? Okay, this is what you're working on here. How would this change your approach? Such is the energy of agape. It is alive when we are in awe and wonder, right? Like that. Our breath taken away by the sacred force that surrounds us and ask for nothing in return. This card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. Oh, okay. Now it's making, because now you have the village, and the village can be a place where, you know, people whisper and they accusations, and it can be that place. So this is also a safer place, but now you're in the place where this can happen. And you might even be like, because if you're coming from this energy, you are kind of in a way, unless you were not benevolent. I don't think so with the vision card. If you've mastered the vision, no, I don't think so. If you've mastered, yeah, no, I think, what I see here is no. You are coming from sort of an elevated way of perhaps seeing right and wrong, or realizing that there's two sides to every story, which is very Libra, like very balanced. But now, it kind of has a feeling of, you know, like even the judge, like sitting on the podium and having a ton of experience in court cases and really seeing and kind of knowing right away when somebody is not telling the truth and somebody is, because all the circumstances around this, I have 100% seen that always ends up in this. You know, like there's a sense of coming from somewhere here where you sit above this, but now you're in it. Now you're in it. So there's a sense of however you served in this energy, that you've got to the next lesson here is taking that and maybe putting it in the village. It's not necessarily the space you really want to be in, but this card can indicate a spiritual initiation that stretches your capacity to love and serve. You sense the earthly as the heavenly and vice versa. Such an initiatory moment can appear in any form and like a healing balm to the modern soul. Its effects last a lifetime. This might even be a temporary thing too, like just out for the weekend, coming out of the castle and going into the village, finding yourself in a very different dynamic. The agape card may also suggest you reassess what you worship every day, consciously and unconsciously. What are you elevating? Where does the sacred ladder you climb ultimately lead you or lead to? So when this is in light, service, reverence, honor, and joy. When it is in dark, spiritual bypassing and righteousness. This could be a challenge for you, because you literally are coming from a place where you kind of know better, or you have a better foundation than something that you might be involved in right now, where people don't know better, or they don't have the experience to know better, or the foundation. And you might just be like, I really don't want to get caught up in this shit. And maybe you don't. But there is something here about kind of removing how you have practiced this exalted idealism to something where it really, this is no longer preaching to the choir. This is getting into the pews, man. This is getting into the pews. Agape can also be felt in its overwhelming love of family, partner, community. Recognize it by a deep swell of gratitude. The Greek word agape informs the English word agape. Sorry, it's early in the morning for me here. To have the mouth agape is to be awestruck by something of breathtaking delight. We are made humble once again. You might find something in a place you really don't expect to find it. Okay. So you be open to it, whatever it is. I think I've explained it all right. So let's keep going, Cindy. Let's keep going. Let's keep pulling cards. Oh, sorry. So touch a little bit on the vision here. You do have the capacity to see beyond perhaps whatever element or environment or circumstance you kind of find yourself in currently. But it's pushing you a little bit beyond your comfort zone. Let's see. Okay, 1 second. There's a message there. I see a bit of what is going on in the village. Interesting. It keeps unfolding in my mind here. Okay, that's ready to be pulled out. Okay, this little hand here reaching for that circle, it almost like it's like a tiny little handmade crown or something. And one of the things that's coming in here is, was it yesterday when I did, who was it? Was it Virgo? It was a king without a castle, a queen without a throne. I'm an early morning lover. I must be moving on. Anyways, but this is a little bit of that energy. It's a queen without a throne. Because now this queen, this energy, you find yourself in the village. And it's a little bit odd, like, almost like something has happened. And your status has, like somebody's trying. That's a bit of the reason that, there's something going on here in the village that I feel like you find yourself in, and it could be a little bit gossipy, it could be a little manipulative. There's accusatory stuff going on, persecuting, I don't know, but I just like this here. The queen has found herself kind of wrapped up in something. And then it's almost as if in the village, when the queen is in this, I guess, this unprotected state even, it's like somebody's found the crown, or somebody's found something that could look like a crown because they realize that no one's in the throne. They want to take it. Try to give an example. Like, I'm trying to think. I guess the clearest example would be more like work. But, let's say you run a company, and let's say you run or own a company, and then you go away for vacation. Like, you've left the castle, right? And you're off in the village. You're off in villages. But then it's almost like within the village of your castle, the business, it's like maybe your manager or someone is trying to kind of like take on certain powers and responsibilities that are not theirs to take. Like there's a sense of someone or something trying to take advantage of a situation here. And this just looks like, and it's kind of sneaky the way that finger's coming in, like nobody's looking right now. I'm going to grab and claim, and I'm going to claim the throne. Yeah, this is my opportunity to do that. It's really kind of weird. So I could see how that is definitely like the energy of, it could even be someone wanting to say that they have more knowledge and experience than you, even though it's not true. Okay, like if there was a situation here and it looked pretty obvious that, well, they might actually, so it would be worth listening to them. Because you're going from the queen to the village, I don't think that they do. I think that you, yeah. So someone may even try to, there's a bit of maybe a struggle, or I almost see like too, like I always think of like human politics, some politics here. There's big politics here in the village. And whenever I think of politics, I think of primates. The worst. They sling shit. They manipulate. You watch chimpanzees, man. They are just nasty little fuckers. They really are. They lie and cheat. You wonder why people, like, and when we go into these states, it is our lower nature because we're like 99% genetically connected to them. And that's here. It's almost like the leader of the chimp herd or group or pack or whatever we call them. Like if he or she has gone off to hunt or find something, and now they're all like going nuts in the trees, and I'm gonna be king, I'm gonna be queen. This is a really weird energy. I really don't know what's going on. I don't know, maybe I'm just like, what I'm getting from it might just be so much more than what it is, but it's just kind of to convey it. Okay, where you were then, the queen, the bat. Wow, okay, all I'm gonna say right now, protected. Protected and like high level guidance here, because this is my ancestral card. Look at the moon. There's two full moons in this card. Very feminine energy, like really connected to your feminine. Connected very highly and very strongly intuitively. So when I say like you're coming from some sort of elevated perspective, you definitely are, because this is not even just, you know, what you were able to see in whatever position or where you found yourself in life in the past, or just experiences too. And you're like, I've seen a lot of shit, Cindy. But there's also like ancestral guidance that's been helping you. So it's not just your perception. There's something greater here. But now you're in the village. Now you're the village. The owl. This is highly intuitive. But it may not feel like you have that connection as much because there's a lot going on around you. It doesn't feel as protected in the village. You see and you know exactly what's going on here. So I don't know what it is. It could be somebody trying to kiss the boss's ass, or somebody trying to find any little mistake that you're doing so that they can take that opportunity, a little wee crown there. I'm going to put it on my head. I'm going to convince everyone. Woo, 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 I'm the king. I'm the queen. I see that. I just when you see the worst evidence of human behavior, that's exactly what I start looking at. I just see people as chimpanzees. It'll make life so much better for you. Just like an ape. 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 Ape is in here. Oh my God, the lesson that you are still fully learning. AG, ape. What does the AG stand for? What is the AG? Always good. Okay, always good ape. It's to always try to see the good. And the ape, the chimpanzee. Oh, that's interesting. That is. Like, and that's kind of what the card said. Like, you gotta look. Wow. Okay. Not fully learned. So, well, there they are. There they are. And their worst behavior. Yeah, this is the worst behavior. And you find yourself in it for some reason. Like, oh my God. It is always a good ape. That's really, you're really, God, the universe, the angels, spirit, source is trying to help you see that all of it is for the good, even when it is the worst behavior present somehow. Because this is a 100%. There's a couple here fighting for the crown, and everyone's coming in and hooting and hollering and screaming and grabbing big stick and smacking them on the ground. That's it. That's it. It's to see the good in it. This is a challenge, Libra. Well, Spirit thinks you're up to it. So see the vision. Oh my God, the crocodile. You're good at knowing what awaits. You're good at seeing traps. You're good at, you've perfected that. You've spent some time with some chimps. You have. You definitely. This is a hot potato, honey. What this is, the lesson that you're still learning, and it's all kind of interrelated. I think, okay, you have learned to identify. You know exactly, I want to say, possibly who the initiator of certain things may be in life. Like, you can identify that in a group pretty quickly. You know people's deeper motives somehow, but you are looking. I mean, you do have this. It's coming from an exalted sense of knowing. I don't know if I'm even putting those words in the sentence together correctly. It is one of those readings where I am grasping a little bit to articulate words to describe like what's being channeled in here. But you can identify them all. You know the alpha, you know the real alpha, you know the pseudo alpha, you know the troublemaker, you know the victim, you know the perpetrator. Like, you know all these sort of archetypal energies. You're kind of good at identifying them. You see them. You see them. But the thing is, it's to see the good. That's the challenge. The lesson is, yeah, you see them. The challenge to this lesson that you're still working on is the good in all of them. Believe me, I still work on it all the time. Oh, the buffalo is at the bottom. It's like a tower moment. But the medallion is sitting there. Let's see. Two hands reaching for something here. Right? One is reaching for this tiny, almost like, it just reminds me of a crown. Somebody dropped it. Somebody was temporarily pretending to be king or queen, and then it got dropped in the kerfuffle. And it's like, oh, if I put this on my head, everyone will listen to me. You know, like, it is very primitive, and pretend games. It's like games. It's games. Yeah, it's games with rules that really don't really mean anything. But they're just there because, well, we have these so that everything stays in order. But what if a fool picks up the crown? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's as if you can pick up the crown and put it on your head, you are the ruler of the apes. You rule the apes. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. So if there's two legitimate apes fighting for the crown and the crown gets knocked off, and the weakest and the dumbest and the most easily manipulated with the small, the tiniest little backbone sneakily puts it on their head, everyone's got to listen to them. It is almost like this. I don't know what this village is. This stupid place. But yes, I'm not the best reader for you because you have to see the good in all of it. There's some really dumb rules in this village. But it's almost like, well, you have to have them. But then what happens when the idiot has the crown? Well, we just work through it. And then, you know, everyone instead, but then I feel like everyone in the group is investing in trying to remove the crown, like coming up with ideas. How do we get rid of the crown? How, you know, like nobody's really for the higher good of the group at this point. Now it becomes, well, this is a stupid rule, but we got some way around it. I don't know. Maybe there's an idiot about to take your crown. Oh, the 9 of Wands. Oh my God, you earned it. Oh, duh. What did I just say? The idiot that takes the crown because it fell on the ground. It's like just by chance. It just fell in their lap. Oh my goodness. And you can see that in so many things in life too. Like you can see businesses where people like start them from the ground up. And they're like amazing. It's amazing what these people do. They were inspired. They had a vision, and then they created it, and they treated their employees well. I mean, not everyone does, but there are instances where that does happen. And they create the kingdom. And it was a lot of work. It was a lot of hard work. And there was a lot of defending the kingdom. There was a lot of like when no one else believed, and the vision you had for your kingdom. You were guided though. You had incredible guidance. Now, I feel like you're in this though. You're in the village, but you don't have the power. Like your crown got knocked off. Because who grabbed this crown is not someone who is in the position to actually wear the crown. You know this. You know this. I know, I'm here. I gotta shuffle it. Okay, I'm gonna shuffle it. You could, like, maybe you're just going away for the weekend. You're leaving your kids on their own for the first time. And you're like, I know they're gonna act like they own the house. Hey, no, it could be that simple. A little bit. I feel like the court jester just won the crown. Ace of Wands. Yes. Ace of Wands. There's inspiration to be found here, though. Well, it almost is like, see the good in this, because there is perhaps, okay, yes, I see that too. Thank you. Okay, well, I was talking about, you know, how, well, when an idiot ends up with the crown, then the group, everyone's just working on, well, how do we get them decrowned? How do we get the crown off of them? We can't just take it off, or nobody can see us take it off. So, you know, like nobody's now working together. Like the village isn't doing really good things for the village. All this focus is just on the fact that there's such a stupid rule. So, but the part that needs to be seen here, for whatever reason, I guess, and this is part of the lesson, is that each one of those individuals will learn something about themselves in this new dynamic. And that is incredible growth that never would have happened otherwise. That's what I'm getting right here. That's what's going on in this village energy, is that there will be an incredible level of growth that never would have happened otherwise. It is almost as if the group will now become the king or queen, and they will surpass the fool with a tiny crown. It's the way around the rule. Whatever the rule symbolizes. It's just like a stupid rule. But it's there for a reason. Like the rule is there for a reason. But the group will rise up. There'll be a struggle at first. There might even be people trying to convince that I should get, I mean, there's like a fight for this crown. It's such a weird reading. But there will be. Is it like this kingdom? You've left the kingdom. You're in the village. The village is fighting for this position. And the fool has the crown. I don't know. Maybe they're not a fool. But there's something here about, I don't feel like it's been earned. It's not been earned like you earned it. And I say, so to say they're a fool, it's because they haven't earned it. So they're walking into something. I don't know. I feel like I'm just channeling. I'm just going to keep saying it. They're walking into something that they don't know how it's been built up. So they won't know how to keep it going. And everyone in the village knows that. So, but the good in this, seeing the good, it's like this conflict, this is conflict, this is going to be a mess. Yes, but at first it will be, but eventually all of this energy, I feel like, see, this is the good. This is like spirit trying to come in and say, no, look at what will happen here. It's not just what happens in the immediate moment. It's not just what happens in the first few hours, few days, few weeks, few months, even few years. It's actually what goes on within each one of these individuals because of this situation. And each one of them becomes a bigger, stronger, more capable person. Ape. A good ape. A good ape. Oh, the Daughter of Wands. Oh, it feels so much like unwinding oneself. Look at the Queen had everyone. Oh, that's interesting. So the snake was wrapped around the Queen's hand, but the Queen like managed everything. It was almost like knowing how to tame the beast. Like this beast, knowing how to tame the beast and take the information and how to really use it, like from a very spiritual standpoint here. A much higher perspective. And this is going to allow others to reach this higher perspective. I don't know what avenue of your life this is in, Libra, but it's really quite beautiful and profound. And I feel like in myself, I've learned a lesson here, just channeling this. I actually really love messages like this because it is kind of, you feel a little bit privileged to be able to do that and then actually get to sit and receive this message. And it's just like, yeah, I never see that. It's beautiful. So you've got the vision of the crocodile. You just know, oh. I feel like you just know too, like who will go after the most vulnerable in a way as well, with the crocodile and the mother. Like this crocodile is just sitting in the shore waiting, right? Just waiting for them to decide they need to cross. And you know the crocodile is going to go right for the baby. So you know who's vulnerable. You know who wants to go out. I said that. I'm kidding. I feel like I found your throne empty. I've gotten up on that soapbox. But I did say that. I did. That you can identify the real alpha, the pseudo alpha, the victim, the perpetrator, the vandal, like all of it. Oh, and the Two of Cups and the Four of Wands and the Ace of Cups. Well, that's nice. Maybe you should find better things to do then instead of hanging out in the castle. What is this all about? Give me a second. There might be a whole other level of this reading that's different from what I'm pulling in. That's beautiful. I don't know what that is, but it's freaking beautiful. And it could be the struggle. It could even be just the definition of your freaking struggle in life. And look at, that's the underline. That's the beauty of what all of this is. Okay, I'm going to sit with these cards. Just 1 second. It's like a blip. Okay, Libra, I went into the book and I spent a little more time with the cards. Now, the message got a little bit, a little more detailed here and unique. It's, okay, the village also I'm getting with this is that it's something that you leave. It's almost like, yeah, it's a place that you would call home. It's a place where you would find comfort. It's a place that's predictable to you as well. It's almost kind of like that energy of, you know, if you're going for a long drive or you're just going for a drive and you just find yourself all of a sudden driving there. Like, what am I doing? I was supposed to go over here. You know, it's something that is just this place that you always kind of, you've been to, you go to, it's very comfortable, but you leave the village. And that's the thing that I'm getting here. I honestly feel like there's something here about, you were the leader in the village. And I don't know what part of your life this could be in, but you leave it. And it literally is like somebody else takes the crown. It could be like maybe you've sold a business and somebody else is taking over it now. But they don't really have the same experience as you did. And there is a bit of a, okay, this comes in differently now too, or it comes in with more layer to it. So there are two cards here that speak about gossip, right? The village and the fire ant. So the village is an area where a lot of people, right? Like I said, it's like the apes, like the chimpanzees, exercising like political crap, throwing shit. But you're leaving the village. So even though now, like, you're leaving the village, you're kind of going on a different path here. And what's key is that the path that you're going on, even though it feels like, you might be leaving something behind that you've built up, or that you have a lot of pride in, you put a lot of yourself into this, and it's almost like you leave it behind for someone else to take the crown. And it's an environment where there can be a lot of gossip, or things can go wrong quickly if you don't have the right leadership in it. Again, you could be going away for the weekend. Kids are going to be in charge of the house. Don't take this energy with you. That's the thing. Okay, it's almost like if you've, what did I say? Like the person who's the judge, I know right away. I know right away that you're lying. I know you can't take that with you where you're going, because you're going away from the village. And it's almost as if to say, well, yes, because you were a judge, you always saw that. But when you go outside of the courtroom, there's 8 billion people. Or, well, minus, you know, the few hundreds that you saw. You know, okay, it reminds me also of this. It's because it's important not to take this concept with you moving forward. This is the challenge here. It is to see the beauty in everything. A friend of mine who I spent a lot of time with, she's actually quite a bit younger than me, but I never really grew up. So when I was a teenager, I think she was like 10 or 11 years old, and her cottage was beside my grandparents' place. And we used to go swimming and do headstands and stuff in the water and that. And she ended up becoming a social worker. And one of the things that was really, really interesting when I met up with her again much later in life, and she was obviously grown up, and she was a social worker, but she was working in Nunavut, so which is like really far north, and she was dealing a lot of times with the harshest and hardest realities of humanity. You know, very sadly, like kids that were born to mothers that were doing alcohol and drugs, and she had never seen a newborn child in like perfect health. She'd not witnessed it until her own sister had a baby. And her sister told me this story and said, it was so funny because when she came to see us, she looked at the baby and said, oh my God, the baby looks so good. Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, so because she had this perspective, well, from a social worker's eyes, and maybe that's something like that you do, but, and then, like, because you're leaving the village. She left the village. She had to start seeing the world for what it really was. That, yeah, there's still conflict and shitty things in it, but it's not whatever this was. It's really funny, because that's the thing here, is to see the beauty, to see the awe, to inspire yourself with something new and not take this with you. So maybe not take, I wouldn't say the lessons. You always keep your lessons with you, but not take the perspective. Don't take the perspective with you, Libra. Unravel yourself from this. You're so good at kind of watching and observing and understanding. Both of these, too, now looking at both of these, they're both sitting and waiting. But you're good at that. It's kind of trying, and I feel like maybe because you want to understand, there's a way that you understand, like sitting on a throne, that you understand things. It does. It really reminds me of my friend as a social worker, that she always saw babies that were underweight, they had poor color, they were anemic, the babies were born with addiction, and here her sister had a baby and it's chubby and it's beautiful and it's latching on and breastfeeding and it's pooping, and like, I didn't know babies could be this big and healthy. It's almost like you didn't know life could be this big and healthy. Don't worry about the village. I don't know. Yeah, don't worry about the village. That was the other message. So, because, right, look at this. Yeah, because you didn't know life could be this big and beautiful and healthy. Oh, this is such an interesting message. I'm going to go do the extended. In the extended, Libra, I'm going to look at transforming energies. That could be very interesting. I don't think you need to know what's going on in the village. I don't know why. But you're leaving the village. Leave it behind. Let the apes deal with themselves. And then future you. That's what I'm going to look at in Libra. So, thank you so much, Libra. Wow. Until next time, do be gentle with yourselves. Bye.